Welcome to MeasureIt. MeasureIt can show you the size of your meshes that you use in Unity, and we have different options for different scenarios you may encounter. So let's start. Like, we have a couple of individual objects that are not nested, and you can see like the size and now the distance between them. This is something that you usually can't do. You can toggle if you want to have an additional sort of bounding box around the selected objects. And here we have a nested object, contains several nesting levels, and you can control what exactly you want to display in the editor to prevent cluttering. So this scenario, we have the most nested object. Now we have two objects selected, and now we have like the entirety, and we can choose the nesting level that MeasureIt uses to display the individual sizes of the nested objects. You can toggle the combined box if you want to or need to. It entirely depends on your use case and workflow. So if you want, you can disable the distance measurement. This is like purely optional, and sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. Really depends on what you're currently doing. So let's zoom out a bit. Extend the selection, then we can select, unselect individual objects. So whatever you want to do. In order to show it with like a larger number of objects, here's like a small helper script that generates a hierarchy of individual objects. In this case, 5,000 individual objects that are layered in 10 different hierarchies shown here. So just to highlight that you can have huge selections without really impacting performance that much. To avoid cluttering with such a large number of objects, we have an additional settings. That's the label draw distance that you can specify. And this really depends like on your scene. What the best value for this is. Like, as you can see, now we have a very large view distance, and that leads to cluttering of the labels, and you usually don't want that because it doesn't really show you anything of value. But like with a smaller view distance, you can easily navigate and see the individual object sizes. That helps a lot. Let's enable the bounding box again, so we can see like it's a really, the selection was really covering a large area. Yeah, so let's zoom out a bit. You can select using the mouse, of course, for larger object measurements. And in this case, we have to increase the limit of objects we want to display. This is just safeguarding, because it could be that you have like tens of thousands of objects, and this was really slow down after a while, of course. And this is just to prevent like selecting a top level object that has like really tens of thousands of objects that would be then not displayed. Of course, we can also disable the mesh dimensions entirely, so you only have distances, if this is what you're looking for. And we can toggle between metric and imperial measurement systems, so whatever your preference is, you can choose between them. So European countries probably prefer a metric because Unity itself uses a metric system. But if you are like more used to the imperial system, that's no biggie at all. You can just toggle it. So yeah, my personal preference is a metric system because I'm European. And you can see like it can scale and it will automatically update in real time. That's really one of the features I use the most, so I can really scale to whatever size I want. In the future I will add an option that you can specify a certain dimension and the object will scale then to that size you have provided. So yeah, lots of options depending on your work case and your currently used scene. But in overall it really helped me, especially with new assets that I really have no idea what the sizes of the meshes are. I mean, of course you can always open them in Blender or your 3D modeling tool of choice, but it's an additional step, and you don't have to if you use MeasureIt. Yeah, that's pretty much sums up the new functions. Really customizable to your needs. So if anything is still missing, just let me know and I will happily add new features. Thank you for watching and bye bye.